put up with the school budget.
Absolutely. Years, they've never turned their back on us and said, no, you guys, you figure out what you're going to do, we're not going to help you. So, and the Finance Planning Committee team, which has been in existence for several years now, I think is one of the major reasons that happens, because we can bang heads on Friday mornings every 2 or 3 weeks and then, come to agreement on things which in the past didn't happen. So, is there another question back there?
Yeah, just Sam Miller. I was just going to say, I was going to agree with what Mr. Koshachi said. I can't imagine where you guys came from, and I applaud you for what you were able to do, and it must have been very, very painful to make these cuts. But the fact that we are in Massachusetts in the biotech and that we're taking away the science textbooks, and the fact that IT is our future and we're taking that away, I can't imagine what the other cuts could be, but those just blow my mind. The idea of taking technology away from these kids, where are they going to get it from? What are they going to do when they go to the next level? When they don't have that in school? That's fearful to me.
Without being specific, I can say that they were all mostly classroom teacher cuts that would have raised the class sizes in elementary to over 25 and class sizes in middle school and high school to 30 and over. And we just, we tried to look at, and I think the administrative staff tried to look at what, none of these are palatable, but what, do you want a classroom of third graders at 27 or 28? I don't think we want that either. So that's kind of where we came from.
You want to use both arms or both legs?
Right. It's, where do you put the tourniquets? Anybody else? Frisco.
Maybe we don't have a problem. I kind of look around this room tonight, and I got to tell you, I am so disappointed in the turnout.
Is it amazing?
I'm blown away. I got to tell you, well, less than 1% of the parents are in this room. And I know this isn't live, and I don't know if anybody's here for the transcript, and I'm not sure if anyone did this, but you need to send out a message and say, where were you? I mean, this is crazy. You go through all this work and all the time your administrative staff, the amount of time that the school committee puts into this, and you get less than 1% of the parents. It's an absolute spit in the face, the whole process. And I have to say for the record, I'm disgusted by it, and I feel bad. I really do feel bad for all the effort you guys put in. You're only hearing from less than 1% of
It is disappointing. We do our best to try to get people here, and
I know you do.
you think it would be nuts? I'd rather have 100 people here where we had to move to a bigger room.
Yeah.
And
What does this take?
some of us wouldn't stay. I'll stay all night to listen to people because that's what we're supposed to be doing. It's disappointing.
What does it take, though, honestly?
In the back?
Maybe it takes, as Mel pointed out, and Carol's mentioned what, as Mel pointed out, we're still riding the wave. Even though we've been trimming back and cutting back and going level services or modified level services, the output's still there. You're not going to sustain that if you keep cutting back, but we haven't hit that wall yet, like the housing market, like all the other markets. Once you hit that, you may get more participation, or not, I'm not sure, but we're still not seeing the result of what's going on here. We haven't seen the impact on our MCAS, we haven't seen it on our college enrollment.
We actually we are seeing in some grades,
It's slipping,
MCAS is
but
slipping.
in spite of what we're cutting back, our kids are still outperforming.
Right.
They shouldn't be. Statistically, if you look at the numbers you pointed out yourself, we're paying far less and getting a lot more. We're getting a big bang for our buck.
Right.
That's not going to always be the case, and that's what I'm fearful of. I have a very big stake in the school system. I have 4 children that are just coming up through it. And I think you're pointing out great things that are happening now, but my 6th grader may not be in that top 20 when she's applying for colleges.
Right.
And that's why I'm here tonight. I don't know if people have that insight, because it hasn't affected them
It's not
directly.
sad that we have to actually have a problem with that to get them to show up.
Yeah.
And it's too late.
Then it's too late, exactly. We have a poll now. I don't know how you're going to get out of it 3 years from now.
Mr. Bowers wants to know.
I know how to fill this room and have us have to move to a larger room. We're going to have Wednesday afternoons off.
Yeah.
Correct.
4 years ago.
Yeah, sports program.
But yeah, well, success is our biggest enemy. We do, and you know what? The failure in a lot of other communities is also our biggest enemy, because other communities, the problem isn't throwing more money at it. as Cliff said, there's towns that spend $25,000-$30,000 a student. And their students don't do any, they do less than our students do. But I don't know what else we can do. But we have, Enrus must have sent out, I don't know how many emails and communications and, I don't, Marcy?
You know, as someone who's sat here with all of you for years and years and years and years and years, this is an ongoing problem, and until, you know, you could cut sports, you could put all the kids on the same school bus route, until, you know, the parents feel it. What they send their children off to school and they are confident
Right.
that they are getting the best education that North Reading can provide, and a good bang for their buck. And I think you see contentment, you know, within, those of us who are here are always striving for better, and know that it could be better, and follow close enough to know that, you know, other communities have more foreign languages, or longer school days, or longer school years. I would hope that the school committee and the board of selectmen and the finance committee take this paltry, I'll call it, with all due compliment to everyone who's in the room, paltry attendance as a compliment to the success, and not as apathy that should education go downhill, or public safety, or our roads, that it's okay with people. It's a little bit of apathy, and I think a lot of confidence and a lot of satisfaction.
Well, I mean, we can't dismiss the fact that the demographics in this town are highly paid, white-collar professionals. And that's why we're outperforming with the amount of money we have allocated to it. I mean, they may not be here, but they're ultra competitive on the sports field, they're ultra competitive in the science club, and the science team, all over the place. They're in the classroom with their kids, they're just not here tonight. But that's an answer to why we're competing at such a high level, because the demographics allows us to do it.
Well, Cliff has made this point, and Mr. Fauché brought they did a survey at both the high school and I think the middle school, and the percentage of parents, kids who said their parents are really interested and concerned about their education was something like 99%.
97% said that somebody at home cared about their grades.
And that's a big...
My voice survey.
Right. And I think that's a big reason, in addition to a very good staff, of why we have such a large number of successful kids. Jeff?
Yes, the term getting the biggest bang for your buck is kind of a misnomer, because what it really means is for very little money, you're getting a good deal, but that good deal is not the best deal. You know, you're not getting the courses that we really need overall. We're getting good courses, we have great teachers doing a phenomenal job with less, but it's not enough, because they can't teach a course that's not in the curriculum. They just can't teach that. And as long as we are confronted with these budget scenarios, the students are going to get the best teachers in the world, but they can't teach what they don't have. So we somehow need to get beyond that. I know another thought that keeps coming into my mind is that when we talk about the unions, and they really do need to come to the floor. I don't want us to lose that thought. We just lost a court case for over $400,000. And this is talking about a budget here of $310,000. Now, if you do the math, you might say, this might have been helpful. And it hurt. It hurt the community. That court case hurt this community tremendously. But it went for the education elsewhere.
But we're very clever out here. I tell you the success that we're having. We measure our success by 10th grade MCAS scores. And we say how well we do against our MCAS scores in the Commonwealth. MCAS scores are a little teeny piece of the whole education. And we're doing well in that little teeny piece. We are also doing pretty darn good in the rest of it, considering what we are working with as far as funds. But that rest of the child needs to be educated also. And I recognize that very, very well myself. I went to Northeastern, I got a very nice technical education, technical training. I filled out the education on my own, and my kids went to liberal arts colleges and got educated because they got the whole education rather than just a little technical piece in the middle that allowed me to do well in my occupation. But I recognize that pieces on the outside that I totally missed in my earlier life. And we need to provide the basis for our kids to be able to get all those other parts. And some of them will, because parents will fill in around the outside. And some of them won't, because parents can't fill in around the outside. They all deserve to get the whole education, and we are not providing the whole thing. That's my end of my soapbox for tonight, I promise.
One thing on the technology is, it's kind of counterintuitive because Patrick and Kathy and Carl have been meeting with representatives from computer companies as of late, and who have these great ideas of how to use iPads and how to use other technology. And maybe we shouldn't buy smart boards. Maybe you can get 6 or 7 iPads in a classroom and 3 kids share that iPad, and the teacher has an iPad, and they're all connected wirelessly when we get our wireless network up and running to where it needs to be. And then at the same time, we're saying cut the technology instruction teacher. So.
I think we should be talking about we need more instructional technology teaching in the classroom. We have 1 for 5 schools, I mean, that is, again, basic, bottom of the barrel, so.
Well, and along with that is, we still call them libraries, but they're really not libraries anymore, they're more media centers. And we have 1 certified librarian/media center person in this entire district, and that's at the high school. If we had more at the other schools, I'm sure those people could take on some of that technology instruction because they're trained in that. The new librarians are trained in all of those areas. Or some of the older librarians too, who've gone back and had to learn those things.
But what we're talking about is this opportunity for us to do more and do
Right.
things that would, prevent our students from having to be creative and resourceful, and our teachers to be creative and resourceful, which they are. And I think that's why we're successful. We have people here who are really creative and thinking about how can I add more classes at the high school. John has come to us with like a million different